In the second lecture related to Chapter 2, I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about the specific output. The output that we're talking about is the opinion letter. Now, there are going to be different opinion letters depending upon whether you are following PCAOB standards or the ASB standards. What we're going to talk about first is the standards related to the PCAOB. Now, we start off with our opinion. You notice what the opinion is. We have audited the accompanied balance sheet of Company X as of a specific date, along with the income statement, comprehensive income statement, equity, and cash flow for the 3-year period. In our opinion, the financial statements present fairly, in all material respects, the financial position of the company as of December 31st, and it gives the year and the result of its operation and cash flow. And you notice it ends with, in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles in the United States of America. A couple of things here is that when we are conducting the audit of the financial statements, we are conducting the audit of the complete financial statements: income statement, balance sheet, retained earnings, cash flow. All of these statements are taken as a whole when we are expressing an opinion. You notice the opinion states specifically that they present fairly, in all material respects, the financial position of the organization. The standards that we use in this case are the PCAOB. Again, in the standards for the ASB standards, we're going to be using their standards as opposed to the PCAOB standard. The next section of the audit report provides guidance related to the basis of opinion. Now, I'm going to read a lot of this. I believe that the information we see here is critical to our understanding of what an audit is. And what you'll see is this information actually supports what we talked about in Chapter 1. You notice that it states that the financial statements are the responsibility of the company's management. Our responsibility is to express an opinion of those financial statements based upon our audit. So you notice how that we remain independent in terms of the presentation of the financial statements. It also states that we are conducting the audit based upon the standards of the PCAOB. Well, what are these standards? These standards require that we plan and perform the audit to obtain, very critical, reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements are free of material misstatement. A number of other elements related to this paragraph. It states that we plan and perform procedures to assess the risk of material misstatement, whether due to error or fraud, and we perform procedures to respond to these risks. Such procedures include examination on a test basis. So when it states on a test basis, we are explicitly stating that we use sampling when we are testing account balances and transactions. Finally, it states that our audit provides the basis for our opinion. I want to go back to the opinion statement and go over something that we haven't addressed yet. And this is related to the audit of internal controls for the publicly traded companies. Publicly traded companies requires an integrated audit of both the financial statements and internal controls. Now, you notice for the financial statement audit, the framework is we are assessing based upon generally accepted accounting principles. However, related to the internal control framework, we are assessing based upon the internal control integrated framework of the Committee of Sponsoring Organizations, or the COSO framework. The audit report related to internal controls is an audit, and we express an opinion of these internal controls in the financial statement audit for both financial statements and internal controls. I want to spend a little bit of time talking about these audit reports, although keep in mind that we do have a chapter related to just audit reports, so we're going to go into more detail there. But the first thing that we want to point out is the fact that when we express what we call a clean opinion, that we are calling this an unqualified report. In other words, we are expressing an opinion without qualifications. If we are conducting an audit using the ASB standards, instead of stating unqualified, we are using the term unmodified. Other types of opinions include what we call a qualified opinion. A qualified opinion is where we express an opinion that the financial statements present fairly, except for. So in the qualified opinion, we are including a qualification to our fair presentation opinion. The last two opinions include an adverse opinion, where the departure from GAAP is so significant that we can state that the financial statements do not present fairly. The final audit report is a disclaimer of opinion, where the auditor is unable to express an opinion. It is the goal of this presentation to provide a brief overview of the audit reports. It's hoped that through understanding the audit reports that the concepts and processes that we will discuss in the next upcoming chapters will relate to the output. And again, the output is our opinion letter. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to our next discussion.